So I've decided to get on the bandwagon and make a video instead of typing a post. And I wanted to make a video today in response to some feedback that I got from a friend talking about valuing our presence. And his response was that we need to be careful that we don't allow our ego to inflate, and that it's required for us to have humility and vulnerability for that not to happen. So that really struck a chord with me, and I wanted to think about those two things, contemplate them, humility and vulnerability. So when I think of humility, I don't think of this self-deprecating, kind of lowering my view of myself. In fact, I think quite the opposite. I recognize my immeasurable worth, and not only mine, but the infinite value of other people. So what becomes of that is this sense of awe and this sense of respect and honor. And so how I interact with other people, it comes from this place of reverence instead of pride. And I think it is important for me to regularly check in to see, am I still humble, or have I allowed pride to creep in? That's important. When I think of vulnerability, I'm reminded of the way our culture has conditioned us to put on layers of protection whenever we get hurt. Layers of fear, anger, jealousy, aloofness, hatred, whatever it is, so on. All those layers so that we can protect ourselves from being hurt again. And it occurs to me that the exact opposite needs to occur in our lives if we wish to operate from our true self. And that is, instead of closing, to open and be vulnerable. As each layer in my life is exposed, and I recognize it, and I say, oh, there it is. I'm going to let that go. Oh, there's another one. I'm going to let that go. And so I keep opening. And that vulnerability is what's paved the way for me to feel free and liberated and whole. And that's the key for me to express my highest self. I think about interactions that I have with other people, and when I operate in presence, how conflicts that arise look radically different if I operate from this place of presence and this place of humility and vulnerability. First, I'm able to observe and be aware, to see beyond all those words and actions, and to see the other person's true and highest self. And so I realize that humility paves the way for me not to react at all, or to relate in a way that is conciliatory and open and vulnerable. And this inevitably diffuses escalation, and often the conflict simply just dissolves. So humility and vulnerability has served me well in my practice. And I'm very curious about your thoughts. So feel free to post your thoughts about humility and vulnerability in the comments below.